from the island life here at Elm Tree Island. First of all, I know some people are showing up in the shorts feed because I'm going live in the vertical mode. So I know that it shows up in the shorts feed, which I like because then I actually connect with people who aren't already subscribers. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you showed up. I'm here on my own private island. And first of all, I don't know if anybody's on here yet. I can't see. We actually have bright sunshine this morning, which is really great because it was frigid here this morning. This island is in New York State. I'm in the heart of the Thousand Islands. First of all, I want to thank everybody who's already subscribed to the channel. This is a channel that I've resurrected because it deals just with really life in or on or around the water and boating and fishing and those kind of things and stunning scenery that you're going to see on this channel for sure. It's a little different from my other channel that's all about positivity, motivation, inspiration, really self-improvement. So I made it separate because it really is a separate audience. You and I, we come together appreciating life on the water, in or around the water. And for the summer times, I spend my time here on my own private island. Now, yes, it was handed down. My grandmother bought this island in the 1940s. And yes, it was given to me. First, it was given to my mom from my grandmother, and then it was passed down to me. But you know what? Going along with what I talk about on my other channel, you do have to have a modicum of success to maintain a property like this. These legacy properties come with a yearly nut that you have to make. I mean, to maintain this island is a minimum $10,000 to $12,000 a year. You got to deal with boat storage. You have to deal with people opening and closing, minor, major repairs, property taxes and school taxes in the state of New York, and a property that you're only on seasonally. This property has to be shut down, and I shut down this property in October. I could probably make it to November. And then coming in May, I came May 8th, and let me tell you, it's been frigid. I've had a fire every night for the past 4 nights. And hopefully I can get away from doing that soon. But today I woke up, it was actually 39 degrees. Now I'm in short sleeve shirt because it's bright sunshine and there hasn't been much of a breeze. It's starting to pick up a little bit. And so it's a little cooler than it was about a half hour ago because with no breeze and just bright sunlight, being 42, 43 degrees was not bad. But you can see the beautiful scenery already. So I want to thank everybody. If you've already subscribed, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. And please check out some of the other videos. I just made an episode, the first episode of what it's like when I first arrive here at the island. And then I'm going to go from there. And then I have the intro. The intro video is a drone shot. And I'm going to try to do some more drone footage today. And it kind of gives you an idea of the area. And if you're not familiar with the Thousand Islands, New York, it's actually where the dressing name came from. Thousand Island dressing actually came from the area. 1905, George Bolt, who was one of the original owners of the Waldorf Astoria, he was building a castle in Alex Bay, New York. Let me know in the chat if you know where that is. And he had his yacht master, his captain of his yacht, he came up with the ingredients for Thousand Island dressing, and he took that back to the Waldorf Astoria and he started serving it in the restaurant, and it became a hit. And of course, now the rest is history. You can find Thousand Island dressing wherever you go. But a lot of people don't know that there's actually a place called the Thousand Islands, New York. And there's over 1,864 islands. Hey, I'm glad you're here. How are you? Thanks for checking in on the Island Life channel. This is actually my private island. And I wanted to create a series this year. And it would force me really to film my antics here on the island. And a lot of times people have questions as to, hey, where do you get your water from? What about toilets? And I have quite, and there's a whole video on it, I have quite a extensive septic system here. And because the way the islands are granite, it's hard to get a substantial leach field. So I actually had to create one at the other end of the island. So all the waste products go into these 3 chambers, and eventually it gets pumped up to the other end of the island where there's a 30-foot long leach field and 10 feet deep of pea stone. And it's once it goes from this chamber here, it's really clear water. It really wouldn't need to go into a leach field, but we go above and beyond on the island, and they prefer it. There's an organization called Save the River, and they come out and they inspect the islands. And they came out and they inspected. Matter of fact, Channel 10 News from Syracuse did a whole thing on my septic system because it was state of the art. And I was forced into it. Believe me, there was 2 floods that wiped out the leach field that I had. So to comply with today's standards, I had to get this new septic system. I could have went with some of those Incinelate toilets, those toilets that burn the waste up, but I didn't want that. I wanted a regular toilet. Hey, thanks for checking in. I want to acknowledge you here because you're important to me. All right, I'll go into the shade of the cottage. Hey, Simon Hardy, I'm in New York State. Yes. Hey, how are you? Good morning. You've been there many times, Mark Pangrazio. Hey, how you doing, Mark? Good to see you. Caledonia Mumford, everybody. Mark Pangrazio, glad you stopped in. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel, my brother. And sometimes I forget, I have to say, listen, I'm in the state of New York, believe it or not. Upstate New York, way upstate. If you drove from New York City, it would be a 6 or 7 hour drive. I'm north of Syracuse, New York. Now, this waterway is fresh water. You know the Great Lakes. Lake Ontario dumps into the St. Lawrence River. And across the way there is the Canadian side. So there's a New York side and a Canadian side of the St. Lawrence River. And the big ships go down a shipping channel not too far from my island here. So I get to see all the ships going down through the St. Lawrence River because they actually come out of the Great Lakes or go to the Great Lakes through the St. Lawrence Seaway, and they go out into the Atlantic Ocean. So from here, it's about 150, 200 miles to Montreal, and to the ocean, it's about 600 or 700 miles, I believe. This is all fresh water coming out of Lake Ontario, the Great Lakes. And that's a great fishery. And there's already some fishermen out here, even though bass season's not open yet. But I believe maybe northern pike is and some other species. But this is the island, everybody. So I'm making a series. I'm filming a series called The Island Life. So it's right here on this channel. So subscribe, like. You know, I'm starting off small on this channel this summer. We're only at 200 subscribers. So you can play a big part. Let's grow the channel. And I'm going to try to create some interesting content. I'm going to be traveling around the islands. You know, it's some stunning scenery that I'm going to be filming. I'm going to go to a couple of castles that are nearby here. Singer Castle and Bolt Castle. And that's where George Bolt came up with the ingredients for Thousand Island dressing. And so I'll be on my boat and I'll show you what it's like going to get groceries and doing what I have to do. Right now, I only have one boat in my fleet, which I don't like. I like to have several because in case there's a medical emergency. So I'm down to one boat right now because it's the beginning of the season. And I'm kind of way ahead of everybody else. There's not too many people here in the bay. We have some fishermen. There's a couple people on different islands. But starting Memorial Day, we'll get some activity. And I film my adventures visiting some of these people in the islands and definitely the castles. And I'm going to put them up on this channel. And this channel kind of remained dormant for a little bit because I was, you know, busy with my motivational, inspirational channel. But this is a different audience. I mean, this is people who are interested in this kind of thing, this kind of stunning scenery, really this calm island vibe. And what goes on a private island. If you're interested in those kind of things, if you have questions, leave them in the chat. I'll answer your questions, but definitely subscribe, join this community. I guess you could call it a water community, or even if you just want to look in. And you know, I like making content, and this is what I'm doing. So I'm just turning the camera on. I'm going live today, vertical mode, just because I know that vertical mode in YouTube shows up in the shorts feed. So I get to connect with people who say, who's this? And so here we are. So yeah, I only have the one motorized vessel. Right now I just have the Sea Ray 18-footer, and Sea Rays are great. They have Merc Cruiser engines. They're awesome. And cause this is quite an old, this is like a 2009. And then I got some kayaks, a stand-up paddleboard, and there's a sunfish over there. All kinds of activities you can go into. Of course, the water is cold right now. I haven't checked, but last year when I was here on May 15th, the water was 57 degrees. And I actually did a couple of cold plunges. Maybe I'll do that again. And man, it was tough. Going in that water and staying just for 2 minutes was crazy hard for me. And so I don't know how these people do it. that are going into 35, 40-degree water or colder. And I think that's maybe beyond what is healthy. But I definitely think it's healthy to do a cold plunge. But like I said, last year when I did it, it was 57 degrees. And man, that was I could barely stay 2 minutes at 57. And as it got up to 61, 63, 64 degrees, then it was no trouble. As a matter of fact, at that point, it wasn't such a hardship. But hey, thanks for checking in, everybody. If you haven't already subscribed, and if you've already subscribed, I want to thank you. And I'm going to be filming another episode today as to what goes on here on the island. And I don't even have my flag up yet. I had to order a new flag. The weather here changes on a dime, right? Today, oh, look at how beautiful and sunny. At the drop of a hat, you know, a windstorm can blow across Canada and come through here at 80, 90 miles an hour, hurricane force winds, and just blow. You know, you got to batten down the hatches and the chairs when those storms come through. But hellacious storms out here in the middle of the St. Lawrence River, you can imagine. And you know, there's nothing to stop the wind that comes blowing through here. And there's been we've had a couple seasons where people had sustained damage, massive damage, and they lost part of their docks and their furniture. And we had a storm here. God, it's been 3 years now. I think it wiped out. They clocked some of the winds at over 100 miles an hour, and they took off. They ripped apart some of these decks, and people's chairs were floating by my island here, and people's paddle boards and their kayaks. I went and rescued my neighbor's 2 stand-up paddle boards and a kayak. I got it on my Sea Ray. But I mean, the sight in the water was just amazing of all the debris that was floating down the river. I'm so glad you stopped in here, everybody. This is the Island Life. I'm in the St. Lawrence River, New York. This is the state of New York. And the Thousand Island region, everybody, it's actually about 20 miles, 25 miles of the St. Lawrence River is called the Thousand Island region. There's over 1,864 islands. And this is one of them. I'm on one of them. And it's got quite a history going back to the early 1900s and before, obviously. The Indians, they spent a lot of times here on the islands. The French Indian War, the War of 1812 was a lot of battles were fought around here. And there's a deep history. And Frederick Remington, as a matter of fact, he still had a cottage. Well, he's dead, obviously. Frederick Remington, and you know the Remington paintings and the Remington bronze statues. There's always one behind President Trump. They always have 1 or 2 in the White House. The one he was famous for was the bucking bronco, but he had a studio not far from here. I'll be visiting the Frederick Remington studio in one of my episodes. But the person who owns the island right up not too far from here, he maintains that studio. It's still it should be made like a museum. That would really be good. Hey, that would be great to perform tours there. But I know he doesn't want people coming on his island. But man, he's a rich guy. They call him the $300 million guy. That's what they say he's worth. Hey, we're gonna do a video. We're gonna definitely do an episode around his island because he has a massive boathouse. And some of these islands have massive boathouses. He has a massive boathouse, and on the top part of the boathouse, he has a movie theater. It's just crazy. It's crazy, but sometimes it's good to visit some of these places, and we can go right up to their pads, you know, by boat. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you, John Coffeen. How are you, my brother? John Coffeen, my brother from another mother in the LA County Sheriff's Department. One of my best things I ever did was making that big step of leaving my hometown of upstate New York. And at the time, it was a tough move. But all the connections, especially with you, John, and all the brothers and sisters that I connected with the LA County Sheriff's Department at the time, and I still believe it has to be one of the best law enforcement agencies in the world. And you could argue against it. But I know at the time when I left my sheriff's department here in upstate New York, my sheriff said, that's the best department in the country. You can always come back. But if you can get a job there, that is great. And so at the one time, the LA sheriffs were world renowned in a lot of aspects. And so fond memories, and my heart still thinks about those years, 30 years with the LA County Sheriff's Department. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Island Life. I got to get busy. I got to work out, and then I got to make another episode for you. And so I'm glad you stopped in. I'll see you in the next video.